Q5? Or is it Q6?
5.
No, because we got 3 up. We got 1 in the can. Yeah, it's Q5.
5.
Q5!
Check.
Mic check. Chickity check. Hello, I am Tom Pepper. This is Ian Eccleston, and we are the presenters of In the War Room, the podcast all about metal, other stuff, some janky things, and some other things that we always occasionally talk about.
And this.
and this. Today we are brought to you, as always, by the wonderful chaps at iron-firetables.co.uk. The table is still here. It is still standing. It's solid as a rock.
Solid as a solid thing.
Solid as a solid rock. As a solid as a solid thing. It's got some stuff on it now. Yeah, you know, iron-firetables.com for all of your table, outdoor, indoor, seat, lights, shelving needs. They will custom build you anything that you so desire based on their sizes that they've got. Which isn't actually custom building at all. It's like, I'm sure they would custom build you anything that you want, but you just have to ask, right? So yeah, they still are not. They still have not given us a promo code to give to you guys. We're 5 episodes in now, and we're still waiting for, what was it, Death Eaters. No, Ian's got a cup of tea. So yeah, this is episode 6 of In the War.
5.
This is episode 5 of In the War. Episode 5 of In the War Room. What we're gonna do first? We've actually prepared this time. Should we do the standard first segment?
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hate Your Leaders segment. Hate your fucking leaders! Who we got a thing for today?
Salmon Man.
Old Salmon Man bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Mibs. Mohammed bin Salmon.
Salman bin Abdulaziz.
Salmon bin Abdullah blah 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 blah. Crown Prince of Saudi fucking Arabia.
Saudi fucking Arabia. Yeah, he is. Yeah. And why are we hating on him?
Because he's a liar.
He's definitely a liar.
I'm a liar.
He's a total leader to hate, isn't it? It's like,
and he is pushing for a war with Iran.
Yeah, it'd be fucking great for him.
He wants it.
Money.
He wants that war so bad.
And his mates, the US and the UK, are probably going to help him get that war as well.
Yeah.
It's because it's kind of what we do. We go around putting our fingers in stuff, fucking up the rest of the world. Doom, doom.
Frigging things we shouldn't be frigging.
We're just going around frigging things that we don't understand. Oh, look at this. This looks like it's got a hole. I'm going to put my finger in it.
Like a Randy 14-year-old.
Like Randy Marsh fingering himself on stage in front of 100,000 people.
Lord.
But yeah, no, the truth is, Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud is a liar. He is in charge. Well, he's the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, which is one of the most powerful and rich nations in the entire world, despite it not really being a very tolerant place to live. I mean, I heard recently, and it might not have even been Saudi, but I heard recently that somewhere around the Middle East, like, they were like, oh, we're going to relax our laws for tourists. Women still can't wear bikinis, though, because that might distract our men. Like, I don't even know if in Saudi Arabia women can drive yet.
I think they can. But they tried to ban it. But there's still something like, there's still a load of women in prison from like the 6 months where it was rebanned.
For fuck's sake.
Because the journalist asked him about this, and he was like,
who was it? Jamal Khashoggi, by any chance?
Yeah. I was like, are they getting freed? He's like,
kind of in our best interest if we just keep those guys in there. Yeah. So whether it's his stupid ass fucking ceremonial sword dance, his ridiculously opulent fucking palaces and like vehicles and all this shit. Whatever it is, the man is seriously on the hate list.
It's sending a hit squad to Turkey to kill someone, and then saying that you didn't do it, and then putting that hit squad in prison. I would be like, they're either like
so spineless, man.
They're either
fucking
like
stand up and be like, yeah, I fucking killed him. So what? Come get me. I'm in my own fucking country. I'm a prince. Like,
surrounded by people that are prepared to go to Turkey and chop someone up.
Yeah.
For me. So what are you gonna do? Like,
yeah, I would totally like. You have more balls about it, man. Like even like Saudi Arabia has been a fucking testament, like a huge problem for ages. Like when ISIS all of a sudden were driving around in Ford pickup Raptors, like big fucking Ford pickup trucks, brand new black ones. Everyone's like, "Whoa, where'd they get those Ford pickup trucks
with
from?"
the Saudi number plates.
Saudi Arabia's import of black Ford pickup trucks had spiked that year. But it wasn't us. It wasn't us. We never gave it to them. We never gave it to them ISIS fools. Yeah, he's just a fucking vile human being, man. Like I don't know. Like he's one of the people that make me think that there is no God. Like because and he is definitely one of the people who would be victim to my thought of the week, which will happen later.
Thought of the week, nice.
You wait.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So yeah.
So Khashoggi got killed. He got chopped up in an embassy, in the Saudi embassy in Turkey, right?
Mm.
And then they even dressed someone up in his clothes.
So they obviously like stripped him.
Yeah.
And then by the sound of what the journalists heard, the recordings, it sounded like they bagged him, strangled him to death, decapitated him.
How do you hear the decapitation sound?
Mm-hmm. Well, they hear the guy who was like a surgeon and did a lot of post-mortems and stuff for the government, the Saudi royalty or whatever.
He was there.
And he says,
He's
okay,
part of the hit squad?
He was part of the hit squad. He was like leading they've got phone records of him, and he's like, well, I've never dissected someone on a floor before, so that'll be the first. But you know, and then the guy's like, you know what you have to do, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm fully aware. Like,
so he just had to dismember Jamal Khashoggi and put him in suitcases so that they could...
So then you hear him say, this is according to this journalist, that on the tapes you hear him say, okay, now take it off, and then you hear it like a low hum, because they were a bit confused that they couldn't hear an audible saw blade, which you'd think would be high pitch. Instead, there's like a low hum, but then they found this new blade that's like come out that has like
powered by chanting.
Yeah. So then they think they took his head off, because then they're like, okay, put that in the bag, and then you hear more. And then they all walk out with bags, and one of them that was the same build as Khashoggi walks out wearing his clothes.
My God.
Like something from a fucking...
It's something...
Tarantino movie, isn't it?
I mean, at the time, I remember I was really, like, fucking annoyed about this.
But here's the end of it, yeah? Because it was... an embassy, obviously it's what do you call it?
Technically their turf, right?
Yeah, so they wouldn't let any Turkish authorities in. Like a week later, or something like that, this team arrives from Saudi Arabia, who Salman had sent to do his own investigation.
Salmon fingers Salomon.
So they turn up and they spend like 3 days in there, and then they come out and they're like, "Yeah, cool, you can go in there now." Not a trace of anything found. They're a fucking clean-up squad, weren't they? Like.
Yeah, of course. Like, how much bleach did they take in with them? You know, like they might as well have just like turned up outside, like murder cleaning.
It's just
crew.
insanity. Like you think that if there's any how.
Don't worry, guys.
It should have been like, we think you've just killed this guy. We're fucking coming in.
Yeah. Oh no, but you can't do that because this is Saudi Arabia's sacred ground. Don't come in here. This is a sacred ground. It's fucking bullshit. Like the whole. I remember when it happened. I was just annoyed that someone in such a seat of power could get away with something that was so fucking blatant. It was like the most obvious thing that you could ever see from a fucking mile away. Oh, he's pissed off the Saudi government, is he? Oh, he's like constantly referring to them and how the whole country is like fucking backwards because they are fucking backwards. And then he goes to get a visa, I think it was, wasn't it? Get a visa for marriage or something. And he's like, he goes and he has to go to the embassy, and then they just murder him in cold blood. And then like the 8 men or whatever it was, who were clearly there and then clearly left, were like, oh yeah, we didn't murder him, he's just somewhere else.
Well, yeah, they've admitted it now, haven't they?
Well, yeah, because
But he said it was a
the
rogue.
world's most dumb murder.
He said it was a rogue operation. So now, not only is he denying it, but he's putting them all on trial
Yeah,
for
of
doing
course.
something that you told them to do. Like,
It's fucking
I
bullshit.
wonder how much money he's paying.
I
them.
really hope he gets decapitated in his own country. Those motherfuckers cut off hands if you steal a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to see the remake of Les Miserables done in Saudi Arabia. It'd be over within 10 minutes. He stole a loaf of bread. He's lost his hands. He can never steal anything again. He goes to meet the priest afterwards, after he gets out of jail, 24601.
Gaston.
Gaston.
Wait, it's not Gaston, is it?
No, that's from like
Beauty and the
Beast.
Or whatever his name is.
His name is 24601 Jean Valjean.
Jean Valjean.
Yeah, garroted.
Enough of that.
Yeah, and then like you'd never have the police officer looking out and going,
No,
you know, doing
because he'd be
style
dead.
dance. He'd definitely be dead. No, he probably wouldn't be dead. He'd just be so corrupt that he'd be immortal.
Russell Crowe.
Cool. So we can all like do a stand-up fuck you to Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. You know, you're just a dick. You're just a fucking cunt, okay? You need to look yourself in the mirror, look at yourself and be like, okay, cool. Am I in a position where I can help people with my life and money and wealth and everything? Yes. Am I in the position where I could maybe leave this earth in a more positive state than it's currently in? The answer is yes. Am I able to look at myself and become tolerant and be just a normal, nice person? The answer is clearly no, but please, for the love of God, Salman, realise that the world will change and we will burn you. I'm very passionate about that, man.
Also, like the rest of the world needs to look at it and think exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but
Should
we're
we be
fucking-
supporting this?
We're too fucking busy selling them arms, mate. We're a bunch of fucking wankers as well. Like, don't get me wrong. It ain't just Salman. You are part of the problem, Salman, but there are many people who need to be properly ripped apart.
Properly
Deep.
dismembered by wolves.
Torn apart by horrible crows. Big shout out to Death Apparel. I think it's Death Apparel.
Right. Metal news.
Metal news. Yeah.
This is always the least informed.
Well, it's like,
James Hetfield. Hopefully he's out by now. I don't know how long people go to rehab for.
well, he only went last week, right?
But I mean, they kept it a bit like is he drinking again? Is he just like pretty close to drinking again? So he's thought I need to go back in to make sure that I don't.
Was he
drink
just
again.
having a wicked time on the tour and he was like, oh man, I can't, like, if I'm having this much fun, I need to
He's
go
like,
back to
he's
rehab.
like, fuck me, guys! I'm making $4 million a night,
and
and I can't spend any of it
on cocaine.
on crack. I can't even have a cold beer. What's the point?
Yeah, what am I doing? Like, I finish a show, I go back to my hotel room, a couple of Thai masseuses, rub my back and feet. The guitar techs put all the guitars away, and like I watch a bit of the TV. But in reality, all I want to do is bump a couple of rails, smoke a couple of joints, drink a couple of brewskis,
Fall asleep.
and fall asleep watching Fox News. Like, like every good American should. Not necessarily watching Fox News. It's just the only, I don't like. It's the only one I know about.
Watching,
I hear about it a lot.
Desperate Housewives.
Yeah, fine.
Is that still on?
Yeah, fine. Maybe, I don't know. Like, where? What? Fucking yeah.
Terry, what's her name?
I feel. I don't know. I love, like, obviously Papa Het is. He's an institution, right? And if the dude is feeling like that lost, that he's like, I want to know who's surrounding. Like, why is he feeling like so powerless to be able to? He should have such a good network of people around him that are like keeping him safe from everything. That
Like, I don't, you don't know whether he's. It was the same with like Clapton. There was rumours, wasn't there, that he was drinking again.
Yeah.
like a few years back, but then I don't think anything came of it. I think you can just check yourself in. If you're an addict, and a rich one,
Yeah.
then you can be like, actually, I've been sober for 8 years now, but for some reason, I'm really wanting a drink.
Yeah.
And you might be like, if I go back out on tour now,
That'll be
I know I'm gonna have a fucking drink. So,
that'll be the
so I'm
catalyst
gonna
and-
I'm gonna get away from that and go back to rehab and meet with these people and get back into the program properly again, and
Yeah.
relight that fire a bit, so that then I can come out and we can hit it for another 8 years and fucking.
I fucking hope they do hit it. For
I hope
another
that's
8
what it
years.
is. I hope it's not that he's like gone off the rails, and because that's a shame, isn't it?
Well, I kind of like also if he's there, whether he's there. This is just the addict in me talking now. Like, if he's there, and he's there because he was worried that he was gonna like be triggered. I kind of wish he was actually there just because he had been triggered, and he like because at least then he got like a week, like a real hard week, and he was like, yeah, really scratch that itch, you know, and then go in and be like, I'm sorry, help me now. That's how I imagine I would like to live life. Like, okay, I'm sober. Really hard month. Back to rehab. Back to rehab for a month.
Wrote a cool album.
Yeah. Maybe that's what's going to come out of it. A wicked.
I don't think sobriety has hindered his riff writing.
Mate, sobriety never.
That's not impacted him one bit.
Sobriety is never negatively impacted anyone. I don't think. Like if I look, like if I think it like, well, I'm only thinking of Eminem, really, and like his albums where he went into rehab and then obviously he did like Relapse and all of that stuff. Like it started getting shitter, but the ones directly after when he was in rehab were great. Then it was after that they started getting a bit rubbish.
Come off drugs. It's an interesting with music, isn't it? I mean, it's an age-old debate, isn't it? Drugs and music, like
Yeah.
like famous musicians that were drug addicts and then came off, and Clapton, obviously,
Getting it on.
and he did some atrocious stuff when he came off drugs. Did some atrocious stuff when he was on drugs as well. But like,
Sounds like he just does atrocious stuff though. Why are you blaming the drugs?
did some wicked stuff, though, you know? Did
Yeah.
some amazing stuff, both off and on drugs. There's that footage of him when he forgets, I think, on the old grey whistle test, and he's so drunk he can't remember the name of the woman singing next to him.
I mean, we've all done that.
And he went on tour. And this is Eric Clapton. There was a period in the late 70s or the mid 70s where he went on tour, and he was so drunk every night, he took a lead guitarist with him.
Turn up to go and watch fucking Clapton. And like, ladies and gentlemen, and now the lead guitarist.
And he just
No-
played D and G chords all night and sang like it is.
That's
like-
fucking great. I mean, obviously, addiction is a complex issue. It's something that is a disease that many people are impacted by, and it's not something that can be just like, I don't know, like talked about in the War Room podcast, and well, there's no way we'd get to the end of it. So we're always
Well,
gonna
no
be a
one's
bit-
got to the end of it, have they?
we're going to be lighthearted about it.
Yeah.
Like, I've smoked cigarettes since I was 12, 13 maybe. Like, first cigarette, maybe like 10. Smoked a bunch
Thanks,
of
Mum.
cigarettes. And have, no, his dad, actually, yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
He's like, sit on my lap, have a bit of the cigarette. It's like, that was a fucking terrible idea. If you get the taste of it, you'll never want to taste it again. Of course, it was fucking horrible, but then I was like,
Oh, I feel good.
before you knew it, we were just stealing fucking cigarettes, going down to the garden, smoking the cigarettes, and then like I still struggle with that, like today, and like
Smoking, yeah, because you stopped for a bit, didn't you?
I stopped for 8 months. I've stopped many times for prolonged periods of time, and I always like find myself back into it. Like I can control it, and then you're back in it, right? And it's like today, I woke up this morning and I was like, Stoptober. It's 1st of October, by the way. You might not be seeing this then, but it's 1st of October for us. I woke up this morning, I was like, Stoptober. And Sophie had some cigarettes that were on my desk. And I went in and I made a cup of coffee and I looked at them and I was like, I'm not going to fucking smoke a cigarette. This is fucking Stoptober. I'm quitting today. Quitting for the month. That's what I'm going to do. And if I can get through the month, I can do a little prolonged period of time. And sure enough, within 15 minutes,
You were smoking.
I'm smoking a cigarette on the balcony, yeah. And I'm there just like, and I'm enjoying it. I'm like, fucking, it's nice, you know. Like, I enjoy smoking cigarettes. I also realise just how horrible they are. And I have to quit. Well, I need to quit. I would love to quit. I need to quit. And I say that to myself all the time. That doesn't change the fact that I always catch myself with a fucking cigarette. Especially, like, you go out drinking, got another cigarette in your hands, and you're like, ugh.
Just got that wild, you know?
I did do that. That was when I
Yeah.
when I went and got the nasal endoscopy and I had my
Want
throat.
to quit drinking? Just stop. I'm glad you're mentally strong enough to do that, Zach, because you're a fucking Viking warrior, aren't you?
Yeah, not all of us are. Zach.
99.9% of everyone else.
No, it's a hard thing, but like, you just.
Dude did nearly die though, so you know he had pretty good incentive to stop. Like,
What did he nearly die from? Smoking.
No, drinking.
From drinking.
Well, actually, the drink kept him alive, from what I've read. But then they were like, "This now that you're on the drugs to counter, he was going to have blood clots."
Jesus.
And,
so the alcohol was thinning his blood then.
So so we went in and they were like, "Well, it looks like the alcohol, because raging alcoholic for
Yeah.
decades, you know, all through Aussie and everything." And they were like, the doctor was like, "The alcohol seems to is what's causing the blood clots." But the alcohol is what's allowed 3 of these blood clots to pass through your brain, which would have killed a normal person.
Jesus Christ.
So they put him on the blood thinning things. They were like, "But you do now need to stop drinking." And
Yeah.
he just woke up. He was like, "Okay, I'll stop tomorrow." And he just stopped.
I mean, it is like, I think when it comes to hospitals and doctors and stuff like that, they have the power to like really like
Yeah.
get you. Like when I had that nasal endoscopy and he was like, your vocal cords look fine, because I thought I was going to get nodules. Well, I thought I'd got nodules from abusing my voice, but I'd had this like stressed sore throat for a little while, and I actually had an inflamed larynx, and that was from acid reflux because I was smoking, drinking coffee, drinking alcohol, doing the occasional bad thing that you shouldn't do that puts you in rehab, but
Heroin. Just doing the occasional bit of heroin.
doing the occasional light bit of heroin, the odd like pick it up and leave it heroin, you know.
Oh, this crack's a bit more, isn't it?
But those 3 things, like 4 things, right? When he told me, the day that he said, your throat is fine, but your larynx is swollen, and you have to, like, you gave me a bunch of omeprazole or whatever it's called, omeprazole, and a bunch of like Gaviscon, and he was
Stop
like,
taking drugs.
here's some
drugs.
that I prescribe. But then, like, straight away that day, didn't smoke again, and that was when I stopped for like 8 months. And it was like
That was before we went to Rockfields, wasn't it?
It was after. It was just after, because it was during Rockfields that I was like, man, my throat just doesn't feel very great.
Yeah.
And it was just after, and I went and I got it sorted, and like straight away, boom, quit, done. Alcohol, caffeine, cigarettes, all in one foul swoop. Didn't even give it a second fucking thought. 8 months down the line, someone's like, "Hey, you want this joint with a bit of tobacco in it?" I was like, "Hey, it's been so long now that I can control this." Before you know it, 3 months later, I'm fucking waking up and having 2 fags.
That's what I mean. Maybe that's where Hetfield's at.
Yeah, maybe.
But because he's got like a wife and kids, and he's like 55 or something,
Responsible dude, man.
he's like, man. But imagine having it for being sober for like 8 years or something. And
Yeah,
then you might be like, you could be like, whoa. No, I'm going to go back there and I'm going to go back to the doctor and have him tell me all this again, so that I'm a bit more
yeah.
reaffirmed. Like,
Bit more ready. Right, well, let's get ourselves off of the metal news and move ourselves straight through. Should we just do the CD review?
CD reviews.
yes.
This is-
Album review.
Fucking album reviews.
Yes, let's do it. So, let's not spend too much time on this, because I think both of us didn't really enjoy it that much. I've got a lot written down on it.
So what did we listen to?
We listened to
Reluctantly.
The Nothing by Korn.
Which is pretty much sums up the entire album, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I drew a big dick on my notes.
I mean, we should have known. I mean, they called it The Nothing.
It's just nothing.
Like, what's it worth to you? Nothing.
The thing is, I like Korn. I went and saw Korn recently. Well, not that recently. I went and saw Korn and Limp Bizkit in Cardiff, right? And it was fucking good. Like, it was a great tour that they did. When it came to Korn, there was like 2 songs I knew. Really, like,
we're the age where like you have a bit of time for Korn, don't you?
Yeah,
because
they were like,
they were us. They were one of ours, weren't they?
Yeah, they were that new metal wave that like we got. We were like right front row, sat there, eyes open, absorbing it all.
You're like 10 years old, like fucking Korn, yeah. Well, not even 10 actually. When was the first one? 94, 95, was it?
But I don't fucking know. I'm not even gonna look it up. But the latest ones this year. Are you ready? He's not ready. So, who's in the band?
I just don't care anymore.
We've got Jonathan Davis.
I did care, but then I heard this album and I was like, I don't fucking care. It started with a bagpipe and a guy crying.
Yeah, the bagpipes. My notes for that were bagpipes, boring. Why is he cry acting? I didn't understand.
It might be something to do with like us, you know.
We don't understand
being British and the fact that we fucking don't like bagpipes anyway. Like maybe in America it's a cool thing. They're like, oh, what is that new sound? That's cool.
He's an American Scot, right? Is he?
I don't know. I don't know where's a kill. I don't know.
Yeah.
If he's got heritage, then he's quite clearly upset about it. He's upset about. He's very much upset about things.
So I'm just going to put it out there, right?
Yep.
That I think James Monkey Schaefer, Brian Head Welsh, Reginald Fieldy Arvizu, and Ray Luzier, who are the band, did a pretty good job on this album.
Yeah.
I think they played fucking great.
There's good riffs in there, isn't there?
I think Jonathan Davis, on the other hand, kind of let it down. And I mean, all right. So we've done the first track. It was just this weird emotional. I don't know what this guy's been through. Like,
oh, he's been through some pretty nasty shit, like, hasn't he? He was abused, and then his ex-wife and his mum died last year, and like I think he was raped when he was a kid and stuff, and like he's been through a lot of horrible shit, like by the sounds.
Well, I didn't know that, and now I look like a dick.
No, you don't, because like, I mean, I'm very fortunate enough to not have been through any of that, but at the same time, there's lots of people like.
There's lots of people that have been through terrible.
There's lots of people that have been through terrible, terrible shit. And when you hear this guy, who I can only imagine is a millionaire, talking about why is my life getting harder and harder and harder?
My dick's getting harder.
Fuck off, like I don't like.
He was.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it like, yeah, you have depression, but like every man and his dog and woman and her dog has depression nowadays, isn't they? Like,
well, it's in the
shit life syndrome,
it's in
innit?
the water, mate.
And then like we don't need to hear Jonathan Davis banging on about how his life's getting harder and harder and harder, and how God has it in for him. And
I felt very victim this album. Like
it's an assault, isn't it? Like,
well, there was no standing up and being strong for himself. Like everything was blaming someone else. It was always like, oh, why have you done this to me? How am I supposed to get out of this now?
Yeah, and I'm sure that a lot of people will be like, you fucking horrible people. But you know, why is there nothing like? Does he not realise that he's in one of the most successful bands in the world? And he's very fortunate to be in that position, and he's very fortunate to have made a lot of money and have a lot of respect and have a lot of fans look up to him, and there are lots of aspects of his life that he should be very thankful for.
Yeah.
But I don't get any of that from what he's talking about. It's just all negative, and that's not something that I want to buy into.
It's an interesting thing though, isn't it? Because like a lot of people like to fade away with the music, so they'll put on a record and they'll be like, oh, this really speaks my tone, and there are a lot of like sad and depressed people out there, but then I don't know if he's made it for those people, because then that would be fucking gratuitously gross as well. It's like, I better go and capitalise on all that misery in the world, but then I just feel sorry for the dude, man. Like, there's some fucking great tunes, like catchy chorus in Cold. My favourite line in You'll Never Find Me is darkness is brutality. What? This darkness is baiting me down the road to my own death. I like that. It's like, this darkness is baiting me down the world to my own death. It was an okay song. It wasn't great. Like, there wasn't a single bit of it really that I was just like, yeah.
There's breaks. If I was writing those riffs and I was writing those tunes and every song, and you were bringing back lyrics and every song was like that, I'd be like, fuck me, man, give me a break. Like,
you'd want me to fuck you?
No, I'd be against it.
Oh,
I'd be like, let's stop moaning on this record. But then it's Korn, isn't it? And it's kind of what they do.
Yeah, I guess.
But they didn't, like,
some things
Blind, like, and all that, like, yeah, like, it was kind of, it was hidden messages of his depression and all of this. It was like, and now it's just, he's just completely thrown all the hiding out the window.
Once you pull the bandage off, you feel the sting. The only way to fix it is through painful suffering.
Chicken wings. All right. Okay.
No. Like, I know that for a fact is a lie as well. Like,
because buffalo wings will do it as well.
Yeah, buffalo wings will fucking definitely do it. Your mouth is on fire. Like, but then is that painful suffering? Like, does that count? If you've got a bandage on your arm, you don't want to feel that tiny irrelevant pain that no one really gives a fuck about because it's a fucking bandage on your arm and it's just going to pull out some hairs. But is the way to get through that by having chicken wing painful suffering? Like, to be honest, just get shit-faced drunk and you won't fucking feel a thing.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's an addict and he's like...
Maybe. Take a fucking Zappane. Like, take some good things.
You don't know, do you? I just...
Do you want to play a fun game?
What?
Let's rhyme some stuff with idiocracy.
Oh, okay.
Because that was... idiosyncrasy, sorry. His thing is, you fucked me with the... No... You just fucked with me, idiosyncrasy. Which makes fucking no sense, by the way. Like, contextually, the whole chorus of this, you've chose to walk the line, replace the hurt without healing mine. Okay, cool. That's not their... It's not their fucking job to heal your hurt. Heal your fucking self. Be a man. Be a fucking human. Be a woman. Be a feminist. I don't give a fuck what you are. Just take ownership of who you are.
I'm not healing you.
You hold disgust in your heart. You just fucked with me. Idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy, which I'm just going to get out the meaning of.
It kind of sounds like he's found this cool word. He's like, hey, idiosyncrasy. I want that at the end. Idiosyncrasy. So he's just like...
It's a mode of behaviour or way of thought peculiar to an individual, an abnormal physical reaction by an individual for a food or drug, right? So those are the two things. So it's a potential peculiarity of someone's, like, fucking personality, right? And you fucked with me, idiosyncrasy. It's like, you chose to walk the line, replace the hurt without healing mine, you hold disgust in your heart, you fucked with me, idiosyncrasy. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't. And if you think it does, and you can prove me wrong, please, for the love of fucking God, do.
I study anatomy, idiosyncrasy.
I just met this fucking bee, idiosyncrasy. Come help me chop down this tree, idiosyncrasy. I just took a pee. Idiosyncrasy.
Touch my knee. Boris Johnson touched my knee. Idiosyncrasy.
Give my penis away for free. Idiosyncrasy. Because you could just rhyme anything with it. Because it doesn't fucking... Like, he's not done anything. Like... He could have said, you're pretty... Like, that thing that you do that's weird... Idiosyncrasy.
The thing that you do is weird. Idiosyncrasy.
That peculiar thing.
Peculiarity.
Yeah, peculiarity. Idiosyncrasy. Either way,
we don't like it.
Felt like he should have.
I don't like it.
The Seduction of Indulgence. I liked this one a lot. I thought the intro was cool.
I
Feels like
that one.
gross consumerism definitely could have had more options on the outro is what I put. And this is the one that's like the seduction of indulgence. The last bit is skinning me, stabbing me, touching me, licking me, raping me, skinning me, stabbing me.
I think that's all the way through.
Me, linging me, ripping me. There are so many more things. Burning me, boiling me, hailing me, stroking me.
Idiosyncrasying
me. Idiosyncrising me. There are so many other things that he could have put in, and he probably could have put enough in that he never had to repeat anything. But then, I guess, like in the writing room, it's like, how am I going to remember this?
Write it down.
I've got to sing it live. How am I going to remember this?
No one's listening anyway, Jonathan.
I really, in a lot of the tunes, when you get the like big vocals, like boop.
Yeah, like their breakdowns. It was real good. Yeah. New metal breakdowns, wasn't it? But a lot of it, I think they were pushing for a very modern sound as well. There's a lot of it like hitting with the gent and everything.
Yeah.
But I think like listening to the new Killswitch Engage album a lot. You've listened to that as well.
Yeah.
It's just 10 times better.
Oh, dude, it's like not even in the same plane of existence. Like the new Killswitch Engage album, I would listen to.
Yeah. They're just like it's a lot simpler, the Korn stuff, isn't it? And then, yeah, I just think that they're pushing for like a commercial realm, a modern commercial realm that I don't think really suits them.
Well, also, like you can't really hit the modern commercial realm with such fucking dark, sad lyrics.
And the other, like in the tune,
I don't know.
This Loss. I mean, that was a real gent kind of
itty bitty
gent fest. And they go into this real weird swingy bit. Swing the drums. If you're going to go...
That's when they put the drum and bass bit underneath it, isn't it?
Like, don't... Like, swing the drums. Like he's a good drummer. I'm sure he can do a little swing on the... And it would have just made it completely... But instead it seemed kind of cliched and cheesy because it sounded like they couldn't do it. Like they couldn't quite pull it off.
I like that whole bit confused me because it's like they changed the entire... Like, they put a drum and bass...
I think that comes in after it, yeah, or something. I don't know, yeah. It was
very musical theatre-y, that tune. Very much like Ghost's last record.
Yeah. But he just swung the drums. He just swung the cymbal.
Yeah. I want to know what's like causing his pineal high from that tune. So like one of the lyrics is horrid pictures of the past invading my pineal high. And pineal high, like that would, in my world, be related to... Well, you can access, obviously, your pineal gland through meditation. Your pineal gland is consistently secreting dimethyltryptamine.
I don't think Jonathan Davis meditates.
Well, no, this is why...
Something makes me think...
But then I read that he hasn't done drugs since 1998. Because his pineal high, to me, would say he's either, like, gone and had a shamanic experience...
Or he just knows about this word and he's just chucked it in there, which... The rest of the album might...
It kind of does feel like that.
Point towards that.
Kind of does feel like that, which is a shame because like
we don't know him.
No, we don't. Like if he'd have like smoked a bowl of Changa or something, like got a real DMT hit and was like, oh man, all I can keep seeing is these horrible images of the past, like these things that have happened, then I get it. But if he's just saying it for saying its sake, then I don't. And the majority of this record felt like he was saying it for saying its sake.
But maybe he is, because it's Korn, and they can't come out with the positive album, really, can they? Can't come out and be like, guys, it's going to be okay, life's good, we've got loads of money, we're like one of the biggest bands in the world, we get paid by a record label to be on Spotify, fuck you, like,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I wonder what cut they'll get of their record label. So he ends the album...
Is Fred Durst on it? There's one track where I was like, that sounds like Fred Durst.
There's no way fucking... Is Fred Durst still alive?
You saw him.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah, no, he is. Yeah, he's totally
Google
still alive.
Is Fred Durst on new Korn?
I like Fred Durst.
I like Fred Durst.
Fred Durst is like one of those dudes who you'd invite to all your parties. You'd be like, I hope he's rolling. when he turns up. Well, I know you'll be loving this shit right here. Lion P. Biscuit is right here. People in the house, put your hands in the air, because if you don't care, then we don't care.
There's nothing about it.
No. Well, at the end of the record, he says, I have failed.
To make a good album, yes, you have.
Brutal. Fucking brutal. Like, we're really on one today. Like, I'm not feeling like the best of moods. Like, I didn't have much sleep last night, so I'm feeling a bit more cutting.
Yeah.
And, let's go on to guilty pleasures.
Yeah, let's move on. What did I say my guilty pleasure was going to be?
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever, yeah.
Poison Ivy.
Nicole Kidman. Just Batman Forever.
In general. Val Kilmer.
That's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey.
Is that the one with Mr. Freeze in it? I am Mr. Freeze.
No, I don't think so. It's Jim Carrey and
Oh, it's the Riddler.
yeah. Oh man, I watched it over like 2 nights and yeah.
Val Kilmer, Batman Forever. It is Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. I liked it. I like the chemistry that the two of them have in it. Val Kilmer and Nicole Kidman. Like I think there's genuine things going on there. Like back then.
Oh, what? Do you reckon Val was just riding?
Like,
I could see that. They're both attractive fucking people. And they're hanging out together all day.
yeah.
And they had like seductive moments together.
Oh, they did. It's
Like, of course. Like,
Great
I don't
film.
know how
film.
more actors don't have sex with their counterparts. To be honest, like, surely it would just be you'd be in these like strange. They really understand you. You're in these strange situations together, being watched by other people.
You're a multi-millionaire. They're a multi-millionaire. You can't hang out. You can't just go to a coffee shop and get a coffee.
So you might as well just bone on the sofa.
In the kitchen.
We'll also be auditioning for lead roles in film soon. Yeah, I don't like. I'm not sure if it counts as a guilty pleasure. Like, it's a fucking great film.
Well, it's not really though, is it?
No, that's what makes it good.
It's the way the car, like obviously, like when did the Christian Bale ones? We'd have been like what, 15?
Yeah.
When they started. So like, to me, like Batman, I think of Christian Bale, right? You the same?
Yeah, kind of.
Like I kind of remember watching the Val Kilmer and the George Clooney Batmans when I was like really little, but I don't remember them. So when I watch them now,
the good ones were.
Yeah. Like when I watch them now, it's kind of like I haven't seen it, you know?
Yeah.
And like the Batmobile comes out for the first time, and like the Christian Bale Batmobile, that's a fucking Batmobile, isn't it?
It's like
this one comes out, it's like a fucking Mini.
Is it the one with the like tire at the front where it's like got like a jet engine sort of intake at the front?
But you're just like, that's not the Batmobile. That's like a fucking toy that you've just got really close up on.
Yeah, they did. Like that was one of my favourite things about those ones as well. So it was clearly like these tiny little vehicles, and they just shoot them over like a fake canyon.
It just looks like if you hit it really hard, it would just fall apart. And then the guy that plays Robin in them, that like now has a huge career as the guy from NCIS or whatever it is.
Oh, really? That's where that's gone
with Ice-T or
mate. Ice-T is in Borderlands 3. he's the voice of the ship. It was great. He was a fucking teddy bear, and Ice-T, he's in Rick and Morty. He's in Borderlands 3. Big up, Ice-T. You are nailing. You were nailing 2019 and 18. You're nailing this.
He's a nailer. Body count.
I've come back from Alpha Betrium. That's him as well. Yeah, he's fucking Ice-T, man. He's like, yep. I used to be water tea.
So yeah, that's my guilty pleasure.
All right.
What was it? Batman Forever. I watched it this week and
Batman Forever. I'll be waiting.
My other not so guilty pleasure is I've watched Rambo 4, 3.
What, the one in Burma?
Yeah.
No, that's 4.
That's 4. Yeah, it is Rambo 4. It's called Rambo. It's just called Rambo, isn't it?
Yeah,
Rambo, yeah.
Like
Rambo.
the amount of legs he shoots off with that 50
Mate,
cal.
I've watched that about 5 times in the last 3 weeks. Like,
Yeah. Can't stop jacking off to it. So my guilty pleasure
Yep.
is actually a fucking really guilty pleasure because I strictly hate this type of music. And it's only because it all sounds the same. But in this particular instance, I don't like the band. It's not really like... But there's something about this one particular tune by a band called Issues. It's called Tapping Out. And I don't even want you to go and listen to it. Like, I don't want to be in any way seen affiliating like or promoting this band because I really don't like it. But I also, this particular tune just gets in my ears. I woke up this morning with like, tapping out now, tapping out. I haven't listened to that song in ages. I listened to it once in the studio when Josh was like, here's some more gent stuff that happens. But it's just terrible. But also, I don't really like...
This is a real guilty... You actually feel guilty that you like
I actually feel guilty as fuck. Like even like looking at the music video, like I watched it and I was like, oh, I hate every single one of you.
When you drink a coffee from an avocado and you're like, 10 kids have died bringing that avocado here because the
but fucking
being run by
tastes good out of it. There's nothing more like a delicious death avocado.
from coffee industry and
so I want to actually move on because I don't want to talk any more about it. I don't like it. No.
Which one is it? Big one in the middle.
Yeah, big one in the middle. I can't even remember. The riff is sick. Dum 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 dum, and then it's just this bizarre pop vocal. Oh, it's gone again. Just this really bizarre pop vocal. And tapping out now, and you're tapping out now, and you're tapping out now. Something like that. That's as much as I know. But that's all that gets caught in my head. It's that particular hook and the riff, like dum 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 dum, which is sick. The riff is sick. And then the rest of it sucks. But yeah, so I'm not...
I quite like this band. Let's hear the next.
Let's move on to something good. Historical recommendations.
Competition. So, if you've been following us on Instagram,
Which you should.
Or YouTube,
Which you also should.
that we've been running a competition for. Shall we get it?
Yeah, go get it. So yeah, if you have been following us on Instagram or YouTube or... Okay, so the card is full. Great. If you... there's nothing I can do about it right now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, apologies. I'm just going to have to do a little bit of deletion right now. I thought I'd actually removed it from the card, but I haven't. So do you want to carry on explaining this thing while I just deal with this?
Oh, card full.
Come on, keep explaining.
Oh, what have you explained?
The card went full.
Oh. So we have been running this competition now, which we are putting up as we film this, for this beautiful Behemoth vinyl of the album I Loved You at Your Darkest, their last album. It's pretty it's amazing, isn't it? Like the artwork involved. So what you'll have done is you will have gone onto YouTube and liked and subscribed and left a comment on the Hate Your Leaders video that we have. And then your name is going to be put in a hat, and then after this podcast goes live, what we will do is put all the names into a hat, one of these Make Metal Great Again hats.
Yep.
And then pull it out. And then whoever's name is pulled out, we will send this to.
With a hat.
And it's all sealed. It's
With
brand
the
new.
hat it was pulled out
With
of
the
as
hat
well.
it was pulled out of. And a T-shirt.
Yeah, we'll send a T-shirt.
And a
some
copy.
badges and
And a
shit.
copy of our EP. So that sounds like a pretty cool thing to win without having to pay for anything.
Yeah, it's dope. You should probably have a record player.
That would help.
Or at least want to have a record player.
Or have a mate that has a record player. Or
You should like Behemoth. And if you don't like Behemoth,
then you should like Behemoth.
then you should like Behemoth. So this particular album is just one of like my most played at the moment. It's incredible. It's got some just ridiculously insane riffs on it.
It's really hard to not open it, isn't it?
Oh man, it's like
But we
all I
won't
want-
open it.
All I want to do is own it. Like I'm gonna comment. I'm gonna create a bunch of new accounts and comment on that. I don't want to give it to anyone. So
I just kind of want to know what's inside as well, like, you know.
yeah,
We
me
can,
too.
but we can't. We won't open
We
it.
won't
We
open it. We'll let you guys go. Whoever wins this.
Maybe if you win it, you can film it and then show us what's inside.
Yeah. Because we've only got the money to buy one, and we're giving it away.
We're just trying this out. We're going to see what the engagement's like because, and then we'll do more if it works. So if you want it to work and you want to keep having a chance of winning something, you better go over and subscribe and get your mates to subscribe as well.
Yeah, give some free things. So that's not the historical recommendations. That was just I loved you at your darkest competition. So I guess we'll go into historical recommendations. What have you got?
Stormtroopers of Death.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh,
Scott Ian
ooh,
from Anthrax.
ooh.
They were recording an album. I think the second Anthrax album, and they had a bit of time left over in the studio. So he called his crazy mates over and was like, "You know that stuff we've been fucking around with for the last like few months, that real like hardcore punky stuff. Let's record it." So they did, and they call themselves the SOD, the Stormtroopers of Death.
That's cool.
And it's a bit of a masterpiece in terms of insane. They call it crossover thrash, but I don't really buy into that. It's just metal, isn't it? Thrash metal.
Wow.
There's a song called Ballad of Jimi Hendrix, and you know the intro to Purple Haze.
Yeah, yeah.
It goes doon 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 doon. You dead. It's like,
Yeah, okay. All right, cool.
yeah,
I can get behind
it's just
Stormtroopers.
brutal, like.
So
And they went and did a tour and everything, like the reissue
Is this
copy of it.
it's like a super group, basically.
I think so. Yeah, I think there's like a few guys in it from like other bands, and
Stormtroopers. Stroopers.
the album's
of Death.
called "Speak English or Die."
Wow. Wow. The SOD, the Stormtroopers
Mhm.
of Death, with their one album. Is it one album?
Yeah, yeah,
Rise
it's
of the
just one.
Infidels.
Sorry.
Rise of the Infidels.
No, the album's "The Stormtroopers of Death." Is "Speak English or Die" is the classic one.
Oh, they've only got one on here. Oh no, they do have Speak English or Die. Was it alive?
There's a lot of live stuff on the reissue that they've done recently.
Cool. So, Speak English or Die. Certainly a very open, progressive, liberal title.
Oh, I think they're it's tongue in cheek, you know.
I know, I'm joking.
Stormtroopers of Death. I think one's called like March of the. March of the SOD, Sergeant D and the SOD, Kill Yourself, Speak English or Die, United Forces, Chromatic Death, Premenstrual Princess Blues. Oh yeah, my favourite song, Fuck the Middle East.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. To be honest, it sounds like that should maybe be the new Hate Your Leaders every
Kill
time.
Yourself, there's another one, Kill Yourself.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't think it's for the light-hearted, I think it's a...
I'm going to listen to that right now.
listen to it.
After this.
I think it's like 20 minutes long or something. You know?
I am going to offer up with my historical recommendation, Zozkaya Kultus by Behemoth again, because it's just
What's the cover?
the cover is Baphomet with
the red one.
Yeah, it's the red one.
It's
Yeah.
fucking brutal.
It's brutal.
Isn't it?
Horns of Baphomet, basically. The starting track. The whole thing I think is sick. 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 And it just the whole like just it's one of those albums that I will never ever be able to say that's my favourite song, because I can just put it on and listen to it and be fucking content for the entire time that it's running. For 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, I can be content that whole time. The whole thing I think is sick. The whole thing I think is sick. The Holy Day.
Yeah, I remember listening to this. I went for like a month. They're all I listened to, and went through all of this. And this album like stuck out.
Yeah,
because it was just like
2002.
And the first album stuck out as well. I thought Satanica.
yeah, they're just great, man. Like I could not say enough good words about Behemoth. And
then this last one, this one I think was
I Love You at Your Darkest. There's a couple of real bangers on there, like real hardcore tunes.
Nice.
I don't even know if I've got it on here actually. No, I Loved You at Your Darkest. It's just right next to Decapitated stuff. Yeah, God Equals Dog, obviously. Bart's a Bell, one of my favourite tunes from that album.
It's beautiful as well.
They've got some amazing music videos for them as well.
It's just so beautiful. Like it's you know, they're putting so much effort into it. Like it's great.
Track 6, If Crucifixion Was Not Enough.
It's the way, look at the cover, the way that like the paint dripping down actually looks like it's almost 3D. Like
yeah, man, they've gone
hard, haven't
gold,
they?
Like the gold, the little gold lacing stuff as well. Like this all has to be done afterwards, right? It's on the best record label in the entire world, Nuclear Blast, of course. Nuclearblast.de. You can go there and you can buy a load of merch.
Money well spent, I think. Nuclear Blast on this one.
Yeah.
And a lot of money looks like it's been spent on.
It's
this.
incredible. Like
their videos, their band, the sound. It's just fucking brutal and it's great.
I'm actually going to buy myself a copy of this when I get a record player. So yeah, you too can
win that
and some other stuff
and this pen.
All right. So last thing, thought of the week. Thought of the week.
Thought of the week.
Thought of the week.
Me.
Yeah.
You know when you come up to a traffic light,
Yeah.
and like it'll split into 2 lanes.
Okay.
That is not a fucking invitation to overtake as many fucking people as you can.
Okay. Please explain, because I would definitely be.
Like if you're still moving and you're coming up and the light's changing, get in that lane and you're like just going to fly past everyone.
Yep. That's exactly what I do every single time. Is there a problem with this? Have you got a problem with this? Why?
Just whenever a lane splits into 2,
Yeah.
and you go into that lane and then you sit there and the light's red and then the light turns green and you go, but you're not actually overtaking anyone because you're all moving at the same speed. All you're doing is holding things up because then you have to pull in front of someone, so you're just stopping everyone in.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
You should have a fast car.
If you're in your dad's Merc, like Tom, like,
yeah,
fucking whatever.
Yeah, you know, just because it's
but
fast.
all it takes is one dick in their fucking, I don't know, my car to be sat at
or
the front.
my actual car as well.
that's just going to hold everyone else up. Like
2 diesel.
Like, why is your journey more important than everyone else's? Don't be a cunt. Secondly, and this is something I've thought about for a while, if you give yourself a set of traffic lights, if you give yourself a little bit more room, and then you all start moving when you see the light turn green, you could all move at the same time.
So hold on. Hold on.
Like, you know, if you're sat at a traffic light and there's 10 cars in front of you, the light goes green. By the time you actually start fucking moving, the light's starting to go red again.
So what you're saying is, as people come up to traffic lights, they should slow down, even if it is green.
No, not at all.
Hold on,
Not at all.
because otherwise, if you're driving at normal speed and the lights change to red, you have to stop. You can't.
No. If you stop, so if I'm coming up, you're stopped at the traffic lights, yeah,
Yeah,
and you're the first car there.
I'm stopped.
Now, usually, a car would come up and get I don't know, like that close to behind you, yeah,
Yeah.
because they're like, okay, there's a queue, like, so we'll
It's like a
hustle up.
meter.
But what that means is that when that light turns green, you start moving, yeah.
Yeah.
Now the car behind you has to wait for you to get a certain amount of distance between them and you before they can start moving. Now that has a knock-on effect, so it means that the car that's 15 cars back probably has to wait like fucking 30 seconds before they can even like start pulling
hold on.
their clutch out, right?
What's the solution to this?
The solution to this is, yeah, if the car that comes behind you just gives it maybe the length of this table, that they could just start, as soon as they see the lights turning green, they could start moving as well.
Everyone just starts.
Everyone
driving
could start moving at the
same
same time and start speeding up at the same time, and no one at the back's waiting for a minute to start moving.
time. Actually, funnily enough, my thought of the week would probably solve this.
Okay,
My thought of the week is,
get rid of traffic lights.
No, it's to do with artificial intelligence. You know how, like, in most movies and most books, most people's perception of if artificial... Yeah, someone's having a fag again. So most people's perception of if artificial intelligence was to reach a point of being able to self-learn and grow and be able to control its, like, basically if AI was like a proper thing, right, like a living organism that could just transport itself, and everyone always goes, oh yeah, well, they would probably want to kill humanity because humanity is a plague on the earth, right?
That's
always the
Terminator,
narrative.
like the
Yeah, like
Terminator,
Terminator
yeah.
styles, right? I actually think that's a good thing. And this is why. From what I have noticed, from reading, from doing work, from watching videos, from looking at marketing shit, is that most people are cunts, right? So if you were to give the AI a good moral status, like standing of like, people should look after each other, you should look after people who look after each other, people should not be so self-obsessed that they like build up billions and millions of dollars in the bank account,
They
and then
do
like
90 miles an hour through traffic lights just to try and overtake in the other lane.
yeah, but the reason why this would sort that is because by that
They'd
point
kill
there
'em.
would be driverless cars, so like then traffic lights become irrelevant because traffic lights don't exist because everything is computed and mapped, right?
And they
So
know
the
what's
AI
going
is
on,
figuring
like,
it
yeah,
all
yeah.
out, right? It's just going, I'm never going to create a crash because I control everything. So killing everyone, well, not everyone, it's not even killing everyone, right? It's just killing the people who are the plague. And I might even be a part of that. If the AI decided, then I'm cool with that also. Like, I just think that it would be better for the global, like...
There's a film about this exact. It's like one of the worst films ever made. Like the studio shut down halfway through filming it, so they put it on hold. It was like a crowd-funded thing, so they got the studio got involved.
It's not on the Slingshot channel, is it?
It's on Netflix, I think. Completely forgot what it's called. Kevin Spacey's in it.
Okay.
Kevin Spacey? John Cusack. John Cusack's in it.
Good old John.
But like, he wasn't actually at the original filming. They just another studio took it over and were like, let's put this out, but let's just like add this completely random part in it and get John Cusack to play it because he's a star and see if that helps. Doesn't help. But that's based around the idea of robots and AI. It's like AI. It's like developed by this company.
Mm-hmm.
To protect humans, but then it grows so much over so many years that it's so it gets conflicted because to protect humans it realizes it has to kill humans because we're our biggest threat. So
yeah,
it
and it's
ends up
not
like,
all humans, right?
No.
It's not talking about killing all humans.
In this film, it does in the end.
But Salman bin Abdulaziz would definitely be on that AI's list, right? And like, like a god tier level AI that's just going like, you know what? You're kind of taking the piss a bit. You kind of like, you consciously recognise that there's a load of things that suffer because of your existence, and I'm just going to end it.
It's kind of like JSOC, isn't it?
JSOC.
Joint Special Operations Command.
Yeah, I
the
mean,
US guys, except they kind of have like kind of distorted views as to who's good and who's bad.
well, they're just getting told, right? Like, that's why I think if you had like the right morality protected in the center of it, ultimately it would have to kill people. It would have to, because
People used to fear God for this reason, didn't they? That like one day you're going to be judged. Now people don't fear God. See?
maybe that's people. Well, we all live in a fucking mathematical equation anyway, right? Maybe we're already in the AI and we've already died. Robots have already killed us and they're just replaying our memories and now watching it back. So this is all just us reliving our lives again. Maybe. But
Am I going to have to relive it again?
I fucking hope not.
Can I just relive the good bits?
Is this what I've got? So
What's that guy who was like 1 in 400 trillion chance for this shit existence? Can't even win £10 on a scratch card.
that was a sick boy.
Shout
Of
out
course.
to him again.
Instagram, sick boy, just the legend of Instagram. So I think, well, we've massively overrun
Again.
yeah. So I'd like here, right here, point in the middle. Point in the middle. Let's point in the middle. Right in the middle here is a subscribe button. You can subscribe to our channel now. We figured more of YouTube out, and now, pop, there are 2 other videos that you can now go and click to, which might be here, may not. So yeah, we've been in the war room.
Keep an eye on Instagram. If this competition thing works, we'll do another one in a week or 2.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. And as always, keep fucking. Thought we'd forget, didn't you? Fuck you. Love you. Bye.
Fuck you.